Okay, today I'm going to work on desensitizing Atlas to plastic. So first I'm going to just review desensitizing him with the flag. He's seen this before. There's a video on it of him doing it the first time, but he hasn't seen it in a long time, so I'm just going to bring it back, make sure he's okay with it. So first I'm just starting by having him target it. So just hold it out kind of to the side. He brings his nose toward it, and then I will click and feed. And he seemed pretty cool there. He touched it a couple times, so I'm going to go ahead and touch him on the neck. And I kind of move down to his shoulder and I click there. And he's not super worried about the flag. He was pretty good with it the last time too, but I just wanted to kind of run through it before I start introducing the plastic. But I do a little bit of approach and retreat with him here, and he seems pretty good with this. I just kind of rub it on him. He's not super worried. And then I clicked while the flag was on him, and then I'm going to take it off. So I'm just kind of working my way back. So he was good with his neck. I got closer to his shoulder. I clicked while it was on his shoulder. He's good with it on his shoulder. And then I kind of keep doing that down his body. So I get a little bit further down his belly, and I'll click there, take it off, and then continue on his belly and continue down. So that's the process that I'm doing here, is just a little bit further that the flag goes, then I'll click and keep going. So he kicked out at a fly, not the flag. That was his other leg. He's fine. He's handling it quite well. He's remembering it well. That's good. And he's not super concerned. I'd probably like him maybe a little bit more tense. Like he jumped a bit there. It was a little windy. But overall, not bad. A little bit more relaxed would be good, but not too bad. Make sure he's good with it on his front legs as well. And I'm just going to make sure that you take the wind into account. So whichever direction it's blowing, I don't want it to blow too much and fly over his back or under his belly and scare him and have him jump toward me. We don't want that. So just be aware of where the wind is at, especially once you start getting the plastic out. So I'm going to kind of repeat the same thing on this other side. So I just kind of had it touch his neck. He was good. I took it away. Then I'll bring it back, kind of work down here a little bit, and then kind of see he's pretty relaxed here. Not too bad. I probably like his neck a little bit lower, but overall pretty good. So I moved it slightly past his shoulder and clicked there, and I'll take it away and give him a treat. Bring it back up, and he's really good with the approach of it too. He's not bad with that. He's been doing that recently, lifting his lip up. So, but just kind of run through it again. He's pretty relaxed with it here. So I'm going a little bit faster. He's not super bothered by it. It's kind of flapping around, and he doesn't really have much of a reaction to it. So this looks pretty good. And he's a bit more confident on that side too. So not bad. And he's coming toward the flag. He's not running off. That looks great. So I'm just going to bring in the plastic, and I'm going to let him target it. So he's definitely interested in it. So I'm just going to take it away. I don't want him to get too close and scare himself with it, but I want him to want to be interested enough to want to touch it. So I'm going to click him there once he touches the bag. Now, if your horse is really scared, you might have to just click him for just looking at the bag, turning his head toward the bag, but Atlas was pretty confident with it here. So I'll click him again. So I just kind of moved it off to the side because I don't want to put it up under his nose because they could strike out toward it. I'm just going to put it out to the side so he can bring his nose to it versus I'm just going to go shove it on his face because that would just scare him. So he was getting close there, so I'm just going to retreat. He was looking at it, but he was a little tense. He stopped chewing. So I'm just going to take it away, bring it up. He's not super worried. I probably should have gone a bit slower with that, but once it was on his neck, I clicked him and then took it off and fed him. So he keeps wanting to come toward me, which is fine. He's not horribly afraid, but I'm just kind of backing him up lightly. I'm trying not to put a ton of pressure on him specifically because I don't want to scare him away, but I don't want him to get too close to me either. That's why my hands are kind of up. I'm just saying generally this is my space versus putting a ton of pressure toward him and kind of scaring him. So, but he's handling it pretty well. So again, I had the bag touch on his shoulder and then clicked and fed him for that. This looks pretty good. You can tell he's listening with his ear there. He's got his ear on it. That right ear is really following it. I click him again, and the bag's going to make a different sound. It's going to rustle a bit more and be a bit more scary. So I'm just going to go back through the way I did with the flag, make sure I can touch him on all parts of his body before I move somewhere else. I'm not going to just assume since he was good with the flag that he's going to be good with the plastic bag. So click him there. I'm doing a little bit smaller steps here. Like I just have it on his shoulder, then slightly past his shoulder, and I'll click and feed for each little step further back down his body. So I'm going to start up on his shoulder again and then work my way back. He's a little tense there, but he's coming and following it, so that's good. He's chewing afterward. Not too bad. Like ideally, I probably should have gone a bit slower and made sure that his head was relaxed because he stops chewing every time I start bringing in the bag. So I probably should have worked on that a bit more of him just targeting it, following it first before I started actually touching him with it. But overall, not too bad. So he's really intense and listening for it. So I probably like him a bit more relaxed than that. You can tell he definitely lets out a lot of that anxiety after I take it away, and he puts his head down. He shows some calming signals. He's licking his lips. So probably just slow down just a bit. But this is what we ended up with. So not too bad overall. Bring it back up. So I'm just going to kind of bring the bag back to the shoulder every single time first. So I let him target it. And then I have like it kind of touch him and come at the same spot and work its way down his body. And then later I'll start bringing the bag up like at his belly, at his hindquarters, at different places, because sometimes that really makes certain horses worried is the bag is coming up from a different angle and it's scarier. The shoulder angle is pretty safe, so I'm just going to keep doing that. And then over time, I'll just bring it up at different locations. That's something to think about too. And you don't want the bag to really blow up over his back or behind his tail too much, so he doesn't want to jump towards you or jump ahead and run off. So not too bad. And he keeps coming forward, so I'm just going to have him back up. And I'm going to just turn him around here so the camera can see his left side here. There we go. And I just kind of have the mounting block between me and him just for extra precaution. But he's going to run away from the flag, so always make sure that the flag is between the horse and you. So let him touch it. Same process on the other side. I'm just going to act like he's never ever seen the flag before and just go through the same process. So I'm going to bring the flag up, let him touch it, target it, and then I'm going to click and feed him. So I probably should have stayed more on the head a little bit, because once it got to his neck, he got a little bit more tense. But I have 2 bags on here. It's just a Tractor Supply bag, and one kind of got ripped up, so I put another one on, and I feel like this works pretty good. It moves a bit more. It's a little bit scarier, so that's what I have on there. And I just cut the end out and I looped the handles through my stick here. So I'm just kind of working down his body here. He's not too bad. His neck's pretty good. But again, overall, I probably should have gone just a bit slower. And again, I'm just bringing it up on his shoulder. And he's staying and chewing here, so that's pretty good. Until I got to his hindquarters, he stopped chewing. So really pay attention to when he stops chewing. See, he's chewing here. Now I'm going to be in the way of his face. But, okay, maybe he chewed the whole time there, because when I stepped back, he still was. But be aware of that. Like, once they stop chewing, they're probably getting a bit more tense than you would like. So he's pretty decent with touching the bag touching him on both sides of his body. So now I'm going to have it kind of move next to him. So I'm just going to get as far as I can and start moving the bag over to the side. So I probably should have started just him following before doing this, but hindsight's 2020. So, but he's not doing bad. So I don't want to start real close to him. I'm starting pretty far away, and he's not doing too bad. And I'm going to do very light energy. I'm not going to just smack the ground with the bag and make it whoosh and be really scary. I'm just going to do really light. And I'm just waiting for him to kind of relax a bit. There, he started to chew and relax. I'm going to click him for that and put the bag down. And I'm not going to go too far. This is just a little just intro to it, so I didn't go really past his shoulder, but I should have done this a little bit early on just to kind of build his confidence, just because Atlas is more of a scary, worried horse. Scared. He's not scary, but so with my other horses, they're usually pretty good with this. A domestic horse, you could probably do the same like sequence of exercises there, but for Atlas, I should probably done this sooner just so he can build up more confidence. And they build confidence by following the object. So I was going to keep that like between me and him so he doesn't jump toward me and get scared, but he followed that and he was pretty interested in that. I probably should have had him touch it more while he was following it and clicked him for it a bit, but instead I moved on to the other side, which overall he's still doing pretty good. So I let him target it. So he's looking and then he stopped chewing, so he's kind of worried about that. He's not super sure, so I'm just going to take another step back here because I want to give him a bit more space so he's not quite as afraid. So he started chewing again. I just want to pay attention to how he's feeling about it. So I think he's done with his treat there, but his head and neck isn't as high, and he's not, he was kind of, okay, no, he still had a treat in there, so he was worried. He stopped chewing and was looking at the flag. So just really important pieces to look at. But overall, not too bad. Pretty good introduction for him. Just light pressure and then just kind of wait until he relaxes here. And then we'll build on that in the upcoming lessons.